Good afternoon, gang. All right, as the information slowly keeps pouring out after yesterday's event, we now know the identity of the man that was killed yesterday, a 50-year-old recently retired fire chief who was protecting his wife and daughter. Prayers to his family, condolences certainly. Unfortunately, your life was cut short by a piece of shit liberal, like every other one that exists. Watching the Sunday morning news shows today and how they would discuss this. If there are two more disgusting, vile, despicable people in the media, you'd be hard-pressed to beat George Stephanopoulos and Martha Raddatz. I want you to watch this.
President Trump and his supporters have contributed to this violent rhetoric as well.
Well, absolutely, George. We were just looking back this morning at some of the things that former President Trump has said. He warned last March of potential death and destruction if he were charged by the Manhattan District Attorney. Our country is being destroyed as they tell us to be peaceful. Trump in January warned of bedlam in the country if the criminal charges against him succeeded. And of course, in March, he said, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That will be the least of it. He said he was partly joking and that was taken out of context. But those are indeed his words. And you have heard it from supporters as well. And supporters are certainly, in some parts, angry. And let's remember January 6th. In so many ways for the campaign, January 6th will probably be in the background after yesterday's event. This is a very difficult time for this campaign. I'm sure this week in Milwaukee that President Trump will highlight this, and President Biden is going to have to figure out how to go forward with this campaign and what exactly they say.
Yeah, ABC News had the audacity to blame Trump's own assassination on him. That he's the one that's spewing vile information and making hatred the norm in the United States. None of these matter at all.
Gotta be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
Feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school.
If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Take him out now.
Okay. When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
And you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Please, get up in the face of some Congress people.
People will do what they do.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
We're going to go in there, we're going to impeach the
This is just a warning to you Trumpers. Be careful. Walk lightly. And for those of you who are soldiers, make them pay.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be? Does one of us have to come out alive?
I could add more and more and more and more. Let's think about this. I've mentioned Harry Sisson, the little punk-ass soy boy who's a Democrat Party influencer on TikTok or whatever, last week saying the Supreme Court just gave Joe Biden authorization to assassinate Donald Trump. That was what he said. A paid influencer paid for by the Biden campaign. Now let's take a look at this for a second. The shooter was a 20-year-old unemployed loser who probably watches one of the other 20-year-old unemployed loser influencers on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or wherever, and thought, hey, I was told to do this. It's going to be very interesting in the coming days, maybe, if we're lucky, God forbid, if Christopher Wray is the one overseeing the investigation into this kid, where he got his information. What could have possibly caused him to commit such a heinous crime yesterday? Mark my words that we haven't heard the end of this saga. They tried destroying Trump in public opinion, calling him a Nazi, calling him Hitler, calling him a dictator. That didn't work. They tried indicting him nearly 100 times. That didn't work. They changed the laws in New York so they could prosecute him for a crime that he never committed. That didn't work. They fined him more for a crime he didn't commit than they fined Boeing for putting faulty airplanes 30,000 feet in the air and people dying. They fined him more for misrepresenting the value of his home than they fined Boeing. I want you to think of that. That didn't work. Oh God, maybe we could come up with some reason to get rid of him altogether. Kind of like all those Congress critters I just showed you have called for. And somebody listened. That's what they're counting on. Be ready for a false flag event. Now, you know what a false flag event is. It's when you do something and blame something else, or blame someone else. Mind you, that is the entire platform of the Biden campaign. Everything that he's done that's been harmful to this country, he's blamed someone else. Oh, think this is a first for Biden? Barack Obama spent 8 years blaming George Bush. No. Something's going to happen, God forbid, and they're going to blame us. They're going to blame conservatives. The tide has turned. I told you yesterday about what happened after Reagan's assassination, that his approval rating went up 12 points. He was only 69 days into his presidency when he was shot. And his approval rating went up from 49% to 61%? No. Because the American people, conservatives, independents, Democrats, don't want to live in a banana republic. We don't believe this country is Mexico or Russia or China or North Korea, where you assassinate your political opponent. No. There's a lot of people who's announced in the last 18 hours that they were going to vote against Trump, and yesterday convinced them to change their mind. Because people will not put up with this in the United States. Sure, we've got our fair share of idiots. There's plenty of them online who are still calling for, gee, you missed, or you only had one job to do, right? Those people need to be arrested. The people who are calling this a setup or something, they need to be sued by the family, by Corey's family, the gentleman who was murdered yesterday. just like Alex Jones was sued for billions of dollars. The families of those that were injured yesterday or killed yesterday need to sue ABC, CNN, MSNBC, every single talking head they have for misrepresentation and for inciting violence. For 8 years, we have now heard Trump is the devil. Out of media, out of other political figures, out of Hollywood, and yet he keeps coming back. This country needs a major overhaul. Personally, I hope when, I won't even say if anymore, Trump is reelected in November, he goes scorched earth on this country, on the media, on every three-letter agency. The FCC has 3 letters. Guess who controls the media, right? And shuts them all down. They accuse him of wanting to be a dictator, of wanting to be a king. You know what? Maybe we do need him to be a dictator for more than one day. To basically eliminate the jobs of every single one of these traitors to the United States, in the media, in government employ, anywhere. Yesterday was a shit stain on the history of the United States. Just another one by the Democrats. One day somebody's going to wake up and realize that everything that's gone wrong in this country has been happening because of decisions made by leftists. They have no redeeming qualities at all. 0. They'll come up with some reason for their brain-dead sheep followers to agree with them. Again, you can go on social media and find plenty of them. Just be very, very careful that when the false flag event that you know is coming and I know is coming, you're far away from it. They're going to do something. They are absolutely a cornered animal at this point. There's only 2 things left they can do, guys. They've tried to destroy the man. They can't do it. Trump said it himself. They're not coming for me, they're coming for you. I'm just standing in the way. Unfortunately, he wasn't standing in the way of the fire chief who was killed yesterday. Next time it could be you. Be careful. Pinball out.